Shalom everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Healing Victors. I'm exhorting from Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 30 verse 14 to 17 and Ecclesiasticus chapter 30 verse 21 to 23. I'm expounding on the importance of dealing with grief and pain. Dealing with grief and pain is difficult and it is mentally exhausting. But as a people, we must have the courage and resilience to face them in order to move forward in life, as well as accepting the new norm. Dealing with grief and pain forces us to give up control, and it forces us to become recipients of other people's support and love, and it makes us strong and humble in so many ways of our lives. Grieving and paining are essential parts of one's life. We all go through pain and death and loss at the same time. But what matters is how we choose to approach them. No matter what kind of grief, pain, loss you may go through in life, they all end up causing mental health instability, which may require you to seek out mental health support and spiritual support, including counseling and therapy. As God's creation, we have these two things in common: life and death, grief and loss, be it the poor or the rich. In Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 30, verse 14, it is written that it is better to be poor but strong and healthy than to be rich but in poor health. You can have all the wealth on earth, but if your health is unstable, you cannot enjoy your wealth. The scripture says that it is better to be poor but strong and healthy. A person who is poor in riches and wealth but has good health is healthier and wealthier than an individual who is wealthy but has poor health condition. And Ecclesiasticus chapter 30 verse 15 says that a sound, healthy body and a cheerful attitude are more valuable than gold and jewels. Your health is more valuable than all your material possessions and money, because they cannot cure you from any sickness or heal you from death. For instance, I was reading a posting that has been circulating on social media for quite some time about Steve Jobs, the co-founder of the Apple phone. Here is his last statement when he was dying in the hospital, as declared, "In other eyes, my life is the essence of success, but aside from work, I have a little joy, and in the end, wealth is just a fact of life to which I am accustomed to. At this moment, lying on the bed, sick and remembering all my life, I realize that all my recognition and wealth that I have is meaningless in the face of imminent death." By making this declaration, Steve Jobs understood that he accumulated great wealth and health throughout life, but these material possessions could not rescue him from a healthy crisis that ended his life. Nevertheless, wealth and affluent friendship did not come to rescue him from death, nor replace him from the hospital bed. Steve Jobs understood that power and mercy belongs to God alone, as written in Psalm chapter 62, verse 11 to 12. Also, Ecclesiasticus chapter 30, verse 16 to 17 reveals that nothing can make you richer or give you greater happiness than these two things. It is better to be dead, asleep forever, than to live in the misery of chronic illnesses. In this passage, we learn that living in the misery of chronic illnesses will not give you the privilege to enjoy your great wealth, but coerce you to spend it all on medical expenses. The greater the loss, the greater the pain, and the more profound your healing process will be. Grief and pain are unique, and so are we. People must be supported when processing grief instead of judging them or forcing them to suppress their feelings and emotions, or forcing them or questioning them about their faith in God when they're already broken. Grief and pain bring about change in our life which causes us great discomfort. Pain is not punishment. It is the time to assume and acknowledge it so you can start the healing process. Grief and pain give you the opportunity to adjust to a new season and re-strategize your life. It is the time to shift your mindset and reposition your social being on earth. Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus chapter 30 verse 21, declares that don't deliberately torture yourself by giving in to depression. Seek support or counseling and therapy to gain new coping mechanism. Validate your grief and understand that your pain, feeling, and emotions matter. It is time to understand and share and relate to those who've been through what you're going through. As human beings, we are afraid to acknowledge our pain and grief because they force us to feel, face, and accept the new norm. When we are afraid to experience pain, it remains unprocessed, but then catches up with us later in life. However, unprocessed pain never goes away. It remains dormant. It remains in your system, and then causes health issues, including suicidal thoughts for some people. Pain and grief are vehicles that allows us to cross over to new dimensions. Pain and grief causes us to lose control. It is uneasy to lose control, but we must let God take the lead. Seek help. Let counseling and therapy take the lead in your life. Pain and grief brings unfamiliar feelings, which requires us to be in tune with circumstances, and we should let other people help us. Surrender to God for guidance and to those who are willing to support you without judgment. Grief and pain put you in this patient mode or position where you have to become a recipient of external support, love, and guidance. Your grief could be a breakthrough for another person. I just said this. Your grief and pain could be a breakthrough for another person. For instance, in the Holy Scripture of Ruth, Naomi lost her 2 sons who did not even leave their own offsprings behind. Naomi became bitter because of the severity of his grief and pain. However, Naomi's pain and grief became Ruth's breakthrough to finding her Boaz. Healing starts when you start sharing your stories and normalize your loss with other people, with your surroundings. As written in Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus chapter 30 verse 22 to 23, happiness makes for a long life and makes it worth living. Enjoy yourself and be happy. Don't worry all the time. Worry never did anybody good, and it has destroyed so many lives. Thank you so much for supporting Healing Victors. Happy New Year.